Hello, good morning, children. This is MD Ramzan Bhai. Today I am going to teach you 10th class English, Unit 5, B reading, that is the Storeyed House, second part. So, children, as we have discussed in the part 1 lessons, part 1 lesson, that Boyaji was a character and he was a retired person from the dockyard. And with that amount, which he got, he wanted to construct a storage house in his village. But there was different circumstances. There were different circumstances in the village. In the same village, Bujapa Patil and some other people were there. That people, they did not like this Bayaji constructing the storage house. That was the story we came to know. Now, in the second part of this, the storage house, which was given to you, written by Vaman Govind Howell, you see what happened in the second part of this. The news that Bayaji was building a storage house spread like a cry from the rooftops. This is idiomatic expression. Cry from the rooftops. There was only one storage house in the village and that belonged to Kondipa Patil. Kondipa Patil only one had that, a storage house in the village. No other people had the house. That house, storage. That Bayaji, an untouchable creature, should think of a rival storage house was too much for Kondipa to bear. Others also murmured that the untouchables were forgetting their position. Children, you have to think that it is a blind belief in that days people, untouchable people were there, and that people and some other people, upper caste people, they thought untouchables were forgetting their position. This was an expression, you see that. That means untouchable people, they don't want to construct, they don't want to do any other thing, as well as the upper caste people in the villages in those days, not nowadays. Now you see, second paragraph, work on the foundation had started. Dattaram Vadar was given the contract of construction. The foundation trenches were filled with mud, bits of stone and other fillings. Work progressed with speed. One day Bayaji saw Kondipa coming towards him and greeted him. It is with your blessings that I have ventured on this storage house. I means who is here? Bayaji. He said to him, I have taken risk, and I have risked, and I took the risk on this storage house. He said that. So this is, he gave the contract to someone there, that is the Taram Vada. This was the situation. Next paragraph. Baju, you should not lose your head simply because you have set aside some money. Do you aspire to an equal status with us by building this house? The poor should remain content with their cottage. Understand? Kondipa remarked rather sharply. So Kondipa Patil said like this. He reminded what is Bayaji's position. That means poor people, they should not construct a storage house in the village, and they should not forget their status. That was the situation, and he should not think that Bayaji should not think as equivalent as Kondipa Patil like. So he remarked like this way. No Patil, next page you see that. No Patil, please don't misunderstand me. Bayaji was a little dizzy with nervousness. So he was feeling some guilt, and he was in that upset mode. How do you say that? One should keep to one's position. You should not let a little money turn your head. Kondipa asked like this. I only wish to build a shelter for my family. Then I shall be free to breathe my last, Bayaji answered. So, till the end of his life, he wanted to have a house, a storage house. It is just for his family members only, he said. Then you see, who says you should not have a house? You can have a small house with 3 convenient portions, a veranda in the front and at the back, and the living section in the middle. Why spend unnecessarily on a storage house? Patil gave his counsel. So he was giving just like counseling like that. So he said like that, why do you want this storage house? Why don't you have convenient portions? 3 convenient portions like that. He suggested. No. You see what he says? No. But Bayaji faltered. And you may go in for a storage house only if you don't wish to stay in this village. I hope you know what I mean. Kondipa shot out as a warning and walked away. Other ruffians in the village threatened Bayaji in a similar manner. So other cruel men also, they threatened him. That means if you want to construct that house, immediately leave the village. They warned. Kondipa Patil also warned like this here. That means that people have no right, poor people had no right to construct the building here. Next paragraph, you see that out of fear, Bayazid had to abandon plans for the storeyed house. So the conventional three-portioned house was taken up. Work was resumed and the walls rose rapidly. The middle portion was a little elevated and a small first story fixed up there with a with a wooden flooring. This part could be reached. So Kondiba warned like this here, but here you see that this part could be reached by stairs rising from the kitchen. No one could guess from outside that there was a first door to the house. Bayazid had to make the best of things. That was his idea. The conventional three-portioned house was taken up. That means it was started. But here you see that little elevated and a small first store fixed up there with a wooden flooring was the first floor. Later what happened, you see that. Next paragraph, come to that. The house was complete and the traditional housewarming ceremony was planned. Invitations were sent to relatives in different villages. The village elders, by convention, could not be invited to a meal or refreshment. So they were invited to the ceremonial, that is Pan Supari. Bayazid put up a fine pandal in front of the house. Pandal means it is, in Telugu we say that mandapa. His sons worked hard for 2 full days on the decorations. Relatives started arriving. Well-known devotional song singers names are given to you. Kodegonkar Buva, Parasu Buva, Kalekar Bapu, Master, Jija Buva, and Vitova, that is Vitova of Vadagan, came with their troops. Troop means nothing but a company of that musicians. People looked forward with delight to the forthcoming contest among the various troops. So different troops came there to give the entertainment to that night, to that occasion, on that occasion. So different villages people also came here for the housewarming ceremony. The paragraph describes about the housewarming ceremony. In the evening, 4 Petromax lights were hung in the floor four corners of the pandal. It lent a unique golden yellow light to the surroundings. Guests were engrossed in conversation. So they absorbed. Engrossed means they absorbed. They went in deep, absorbed in conversation. So lights, 4 Petromax lights were there. Nowadays we have what do you call that LED bulbs and some other are there now. But in that days, no electricity was there. That people they used Petromax lights, which is used with kerosene, and that lights they will be lit. And 4 corners that Petromax lights were kept. Kondiba Patil was soon there. With him was the Thug Bujaba and 4 or 5 seasoned rascals like Vitova Ghayakute and Parasu Martanda. These people also came there. That is a seasoned rascals, meaning it was given to you. Seasoned rascals means that it is having a lot of experience of doing something. Seasonally they do some wrong things. That is why the people are called seasoned rascals. These people felt uneasy in the sight of the brand new house and the impressive pandal and the crowd of smiling faces. They did not like this. Many people have that smiling faces, but these they came like that. The impressive pandal and the crowd of smiling faces they did not like. Next, what happened? You see that their eyes roved all over the places. Their eyes roved. Roved means looking in a different way. Look in a different way. Bayazid led them upstairs in the kitchen. The first floor looked like a drawing room, and the walls were radiant with the blue oil paint. The fresh color gave out a pleasant smell. Framed pictures of great men like Lord Buddha, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, and Karmavir Bhurav Patil, and Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, and others hung on the walls. The loft like first floor was filled with a pious and holy ambience. So that how the room was decorated, how that floor was looked, first floor how it was there, all this was described in this paragraph. You see that the floor how it is there, what pictures are hanging there, That means by reading this paragraph, we can understand that Bayaji, he was very much interested in Ambedkar's ideology and some others people, Buddhism also. So that he kept that pictures there, photographs. By next paragraph, Bayaji spread a rough woolen carpet for Patil and the other high caste people. Patil sat quietly on that. His companions, rather uncomfortable, took their positions around him. Bayaji offered them the customary betel leaves. Patil accepted the leaves, but immediately gave it back to Bayaji with the remark, "Yes, it is all very nice." So Patil said like this. So Bayaji offered them the customary betel leaves. Betel leaves were given, and because they were high caste people, they did not want to take the meal on that occasion. So that they were respected with that betel leaves. So Patil also accepted leaves, but immediately gave it back to Bayaji with the remark saying like this. Yes, it's all very nice, he said like this here. Come to next paragraph. But why don't you accept the betel leaves? Bayaji asked nervously. Bujba smiled artificially and said like this here. It is enough that your offerings honored. Is it also necessary to eat? That man asked like this. We will make a move now. With this Kondiba Patil, Bujba and his companions rose to leave. As they came down, Bujba felt as if he were tumbling down the stairs. So his companions, along with his companions, he went down the Kondiba Patil. Later, as they came down, and Bujba felt like this here, as if he was tumbling down, moving down, falling, going to fall down like that. He felt there. They eyed one another as if to say. They eyed. Eyed means word. It is used in a new way. Or it means they looked. They saw one another as if to say like this here. One another they saw like this, and that eyes only talking here. This untouchable worm has got his swollen head. He needs proper handling. He needs proper handling. This is the cunning, that is the cheating in their minds they had, and their eyes only talking like this here, not their lips. Next, Bayaji fed all his guests with a meal of shira and puris, along with the betel nuts, items of gossip rolled over their tongues, and then the session of social devotional songs began. Later, what happened? After eating, after the dinner, having these people, they were given that betel nuts and items of gossip, others given there. Later, that social devotional songs that began. Let me come to another paragraph. Among the bhajan. So this is, you see that children, you can, I'm going to read it 1 minute. That meanings trenches, ditches dug in the ground, ventured, took the risk of, faltered, spoke in a hesitating manner, ruffians, violent, cruel men, engrossed, gave that alert all attention to something. That means simply absorbed, thug, violent criminal, seasoned, having a lot of experience of doing something, ambience, that is environment, atmosphere, and swayed, moved. These are the meanings, children, and this part it has some other pages. Let me complete that in the next.